All right. We've had the man in the chair working long hours on the social medias.
Peter, can I
found-
please go off the chair now? I want to stretch my legs.
No, not until after you go through your gamer push-ups. We've been talking about those.
But I
No,
don't
I don't know
even
what
like
the
Minecraft.
I have no idea what the hell a gamer push-up would be. So, we now know. I just said now multiple times. We know where Screwball's big 50 million party is going to be.
In a way,
Yep.
Actually, you know what? I just imagine like a gamer push-up. Not even just a push-up. You know how SpongeBob does like calisthenics? You just take like your controller and the control stick. See, it's like up two, up two, up two.
She's going to keep doing more and more
Up,
dangerous
arrow, up,
things,
arrow.
which is why I need to stop her tonight.
Yeah, we gotta put an end to this now.
Yep. Just if not to save us from Screwball, but to save Screwball from herself. And this don't look at.
Yeah, this is the Far From Home outfit.
Yep. To date, James, this is the most updated version of the MCU Spider-Man suit.
Interesting.
Which I don't mind the omission of the blue in this one. It kind of feels more like authentic comic booky.
Yeah,
but
It's fine, I guess.
And yes, for those wondering, I do plan on finishing off the game in this suit. So this is it. After all this time, after all the many freaking suits they kept adding to this game.
This is literally it.
She's faking me out again. This feels
Is
like a party she'd
Screwball.
want to attend.
Is she in that box?
she's gonna pop out of that. Okay,
Oh, she was in the
There
box.
she
Oh,
is.
Screwball!
I was about to make a joke about her popping out of the box, but I didn't know I was that spot on about it.
Doesn't mean you're any better
And again,
of a
I don't.
person.
Oh, go ahead.
And everyone else just sees that all happen, and it's like, so what do we do now?
Now,
Oh, jeez.
do we still eat the cake or?
Crap, and she has photobombs along her own chase sequence.
Whoop.
Oh
She
crap.
would.
Oh wait, she's got this party like all over the place.
Yeah, it's a big rooftop party. So I guess I should, and again, I don't know what her superpowers are, but here she has a really heightened agility from something, maybe her suit.
Probably.
Possibly.
I feel like she borrowed that tech. She probably borrowed that tech from Black Cat.
Oh, it is possible. And again, I do like the, oh jeez, and I kind of like the twist of like her chase sequence involves elements. Her chase sequence involves elements from a lot of her,
Or little
from a lot of
mini
her
games,
challenges. Yeah, I like that little element. It's always kind of doofy, but I always liked Insomniac's little mini games they put into games like Ratchet and Clank and all that.
Yeah.
To some degree.
I was I remember like loving all of like the Trespasser, Electrolyzer,
The Giant Clank.
the Giant Clank. Which yes, for those wondering, I have. Yeah, I might as well. Now seems like a good enough time to get around to talking about it. I officially caved in and decided to. There we go. I officially caved in and decided to get a PS3 because there are just some games that I can just never. I know I've accepted I'm never going to be able to play on PS4.
Because you know,
For very-
Sony doesn't know any better.
Yeah.
Very dumb, arbitrary reasons, like no trophies this. And
Yeah, that
So-
I think is the weirdest reasoning.
that, and again, I feel like being able to have the game downloaded onto a system will allow for. Oh, and down.
Do.
Nope,
Yoink!
you're coming with me.
Because I wanted you to catch me! Look how many followers I gained! Yes!
Jeez, she is insane.
What a
You
loudmouth.
know who I am, right? Of course you do.
So is that literally it?
She's in a live stream for
Unfollowed.
copyright.
Officially unfollowed.
Only Spider-Man could say that and make it sound somewhat cool. So yeah, I don't know. It's this whole thing of like. I like the twist they did where they took an existing character and like had her just literally go nuts from all the social media stuff. Yep.
Hi, David.
So yeah, joining us once again. The rest of this part, for anybody who may want to just tune in, just listen to our calm, soothing voices. Yes, it took me a second to think of what word I wanted to say.
I thought that was intentional. You laying out the
Our sweet,
Soothing
smoothing
voices.
smack talk
Soothing.
with Spider-Man.
That's what I'll admit. But it's gonna be me basically taking out the rest. It's gonna be me taking out the rest of these as I can because there's still one other mini game, one other side quest I haven't yet started. But so I want to just try and knock out as many of these big fights as I can. So yeah, back to the topic we were talking about earlier. Is I just feel like having the games downloaded to my system would feel so much more like stable rather than having to work with PS Now. Thank you. I always love the idea of like imagining from the guard's perspective, like he's walking over and right behind him, just like with like that whole MJ sequence in Grand Central Station.
Yeah, that was
a little,
so fun.
a little uncomfortable knowing that it took so many web shots just to get their attention.
Hey,
I mean,
I
they're
got
in a
my eye on
series, they
you,
probably
barrel.
hear all sorts of stuff. And yoink. So so yeah, even stuff like Sly 4, which is available on PS Now, I decided to forego. Actually, holy crap! I just realized something.
What?
What's up?
Actually, maybe it always worked. Okay, I just now realized that on PS Now they made. Okay, so get this. So again, you can use DualShock 4 controllers on the PS3 after a recent firmware update, except the motion control on the PS3 doesn't seem to like responding to the PS4 controller's motion sensitivity.
Right.
But
Ignoring now.
I just now realized maybe that's part of the technology of PS Now is I realized I was able to get all the way through almost Chapter 2 of Sly 4, which does involve a lot of motion control stuff.
Yeah.
I guess part of the PS Now technology is they finally get around to emulating 6-axis motion control on the PS4 controller, because I can say right now, if you try to do it on vanilla hardware, they don't mix well.
Not really.
Which is it's weird, but it is what it is.
Hence why, long story short, I'm currently, as of recording this, waiting on a new DualShock 3 controller to arrive so that I can continue recording Sly 4, because you'll see in the footage eventually, for those who watch more than one of our commentaries and like to tune into other things, there's going to be a couple parts where
that
you
are
see me doing...
Let's just say that Bentley could have read up on a few pages of Phoebus Raccoonus that involved gyroscope hacking.
Well, I tried to, but it was so alien to me. I read through the whole chapter, and I did not see a single circle button in it.
But yeah, the issue that I discovered is one of my controllers that I got with the PS3 was kind of messing up and was feeding. I could shake the controller and it would act as if I had pressed the circle button, which shouldn't happen. So yeah, I'm just gonna get a new one because you'll see me occasionally struggle towards the end of Chapter 2, and that's gonna be like, yeah, I can't play the rest of this game like this. So anyway.
So how are you, Jordan?
Which, you know what? Thinking about it now, like it's probably a good thing you didn't also do this with Tools of Destruction, because I just remembered that game makes some liberal use out of the 6-axis when you're trying to when you're falling onto your next destination, sort of thing.
There's that, and when you and there's a part where you have to dance for the pirates to like impress them or some crap. And
Pirates?
so
Are you sure you're not thinking of Quest for Booty?
There are some pirates in Tools of Destruction.
They
You'll see.
they pretty much low key planted the seeds for Quest for Booty.
Right. Because spoilers, yeah. Because yeah, spoilers. By the end of Tools of Destruction, you become the captain of a ship through no fault of your own. Anyway, so you did it! Yay!
Do.
You're okay in my book, Vinny. Anyway, what was I say? So yeah, I officially got PS3, and I've been trying. And one of the games yes, as of right now, I can already say I've recorded 1 and 2. We do plan on tackling the Ratchet and Clank franchise.
That's the future trilogy, anyway.
I mean,
all of it.
We more or less covered the Jack and Sly games for the most part, so I guess it probably makes sense that we also cover the rest of the Ratchet stuff.
That's fair.
Not counting the reboot.
Honestly, now that I have it on 4, PS4, part of me is honestly thinking of doing something to show off Jack X, because the story in Jack X it's better than Lost Frontier.
Yeah,
I'll take your word on that.
I mean, it sort of tries for what it does try to work off of some elements of the franchise.
Right, especially the second game.
Oh,
Tie off some loose ends. Fill out a bit of Jack's character.
And goes show that even after death, the fat bastard really,
he holds a grudge.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
He still holds some power even in his grave.
Right. And yes, Hype, I am actually planning on doing all the classic Ratchet Clank games as well.
Well, that'd be interesting, because
Go ahead.
I was about to say, it's kind of interesting because I know I did play quite a bit of the classic Ratchet trilogy back when I owned the PS3 collection. I gave it to my brother to borrow because he wanted to play the games after we watched the Ratchet movie. He still never got around to returning it to me, though. But yeah, it's like, I've almost beaten the first game. I haven't yet because the final boss can go keelhole itself. I've gone like halfway past 2, and I haven't touched 3 yet.
Okay, so I beat all of 1, which, heads up, when you get to the final boss, yeah, I already have plans to mitigate that. They're in the HD PS3 version. They never got very good ports, unfortunately. The PS3 version, the final boss, Drek, the music doesn't play. You just keep hearing the Velden theme. And Drek's
I was going to say, to me, the only real oddity I see whenever I look at the PS3 ports is that sometimes whenever you see characters and monitors, they suddenly shrink. That's the only that's the only consistent thing I've noticed with my copy.
And even then, I think that's primarily a thing with downloadable copies.
The poor Gadgetron vendor guy's
the
head
first
got all
one.
squished.
Hey there, football.
How's it going, football? It's just all. I miss that guy. Anyway, whoa! Did you ever have a PS3, Jordy?
I do have one, in fact, in my room.
Yay.
What were some? I'm actually curious because it'll give me like ideas of what I could look for. What were some of the games you enjoyed on the PS3?
Well, let's see if I can think from the top of my head.
Is it mostly fighting games?
Well, there are a good chunk of them. Yes.
I do know you mentioned the idea of eventually covering Injustice.
Yes, Injustice: Gods Among Us. I have Blaze Blue, more specifically Chrono Phantasma.
Okay. I mainly played Calamity Trigger, or whatever that one was called.
It is called Calamity Trigger. But anyway, I also have some Sonic games on there, like Generations.
I still wouldn't mind if we redo. I still wouldn't mind if we eventually redo Generations.
Somewhere down the road.
I wouldn't be against it. Just to kind of clear this up, fun fact I learned. So I actually did go around. I'm actually almost done. I've finally, we're gonna do it. This is the part, like, crap, this is gonna be the part that many people probably are not gonna want to watch because we're just doing this side quest stuff, but it's gonna be the part that some of them are gonna have to watch now if they want to know about all our new projects, because we're announcing all of them.
Oh.
I'm looking for, there it is. That's how we go in.
To be fair, I don't think, like, and I don't mean this in, like, a completely derogatory state, I don't think people care if we reveal it or not.
I know. Well, no, it's more like this is the part everyone's gonna have to watch because it's where we're announcing all our projects. No, anyway.
I've come to make an announcement.
Oh no! I am officially recording Sonic Unleashed.
Yay!
I'm excited because I will say, Generations is still hands down my favorite Sonic game. It feels the most balanced. It has a good progression system.
It's my favorite 3D Sonic game.
It's such a fun love letter to the 3D Sonic games and the 2D ones, but it doesn't. Not saying Mania's bad, but I like Generations for also showing the 3D Sonic games some love as well.
Right.
Okay, David.
And I feel like in terms of the boost, in terms of level designs for the boost mechanics, I feel like Generations did it the best over Forces and everything else.
If you don't mind me asking.
But I can say, but I will admit, I will agree with people that as experimental as it was, I think Sonic Unleashed just is like one of the most like stunning, like spectacle looking of the Sonic games. Like it has a really solid like visual style.
It definitely has like the highest presentation now of the air quote modern Sonic games.
It's definitely the one Sonic game where you could definitely tell the developers actually gave a shit and tried their damnedest with it, even if there were some problems with it.
Well, I love the motivation behind it, is that they were looking at it going like, we have to fix Sonic. This was right after 06. This was after Shadow the Hedgehog and Secret
that's
Rings.
like, just as a reminder, because I've been seeing like a disturbing amount of people defending it. Remember when Sonic was seen as the reason Sega? Remember when 06 was seen as the reason Sonic became a joke for so many years, and now you see so many people like viciously defending it?
06.
Whatever. How is this for a
A
meme?
Oh
So
no!
what are you saying?
Goodbye.
That's not a meme.
What do you mean that's not a meme? Of course it is. I just made it once.
You don't do that.
Well, to be fair,
Ubisoft proved this.
You're literally
I never
doing
took a photo of that. Huh.
Jameson, you're literally going the Aisha Taylor approach. That's not how
You
it
can't
works.
make. I know Ubisoft proved this. You can't make a meme. That defeats the purpose of what a meme is.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that whole podcast there was a take that at that entire conference.
It was so
No.
forced, so weird. So, I still hear Huzon is doing okay though. Even though I still love Greg Proops. Like,
Oh my
when
god.
she got all
Greg.
mad, she was. No, he's able to be so salty, and I imagine he's so high paid that
Order
he
a
can get away with
pizza,
everything.
because it'll kill ya.
He can get away with so much, and I love him for that. Like when Aisha was getting all mad, or when they were getting all this sass back, Greg Proops literally said, Drew wouldn't have yelled like this.
So tell me, Alicia, what did he say? What was it? That yoga hurts?
It was so bad. Anyway, I remember infamously hating this particular fight the most because this is where they're gonna start throwing like a bunch of the Whiplash guys, Jetpack guys, Rocket Launcher guys. This is, I think, when I was first streaming this
That
game.
game's
this is when I
throwing
was,
in
like,
everything but the kitchen sink.
literally, I think when I was streaming, I was like, how? What do they think the odds are of me versus 8 people who can all counter all of my things at once? Like, this is why I've said this multiple times. This is why I value arms race, because when you're fighting against people who can counter you when you're in the air, people who can counter you with your projectiles, and people who can counter you when you're in their face all at once, sometimes you need an ability that literally just gives you a few freaking minutes just to, like, that's the give me a freaking second, okay, ability. Because I need it. Anywho'sin. So yeah, gonna be doing the entire Ratchet and Clank classic stuff, and I do plan on tackling Deadlocked at least, because I like Deadlocked. I had fun with it.
I mean, I remember trying a demo of Deadlocked a long time ago and not really thinking much of it beyond the fact that, holy crap, this is a lot more action than I'm used to in a game like this.
Oh yeah, no, I think Deadlock was around the point where they started between that and Up Your Arsenal, that was when they started really upping the ante. I guess you could
They
argue
were really
that
upping up your arsenal.
and you could argue that Going Commando was also when they started being like, yeah, I think we should start like really focusing on the gunplay. Like, the platforming is great, and I like that they keep the platforming in there, but yeah, they definitely start upping the amount of fights you're having, and how they didn't want to have it just walk into a room and kill everybody. Like, you need to be like, no, take cover, use your weapons wisely. Right. But yeah, I'm fascinated to learn more, because that's the thing is I never owned a PS3 before now, so when I start recording the future stuff, that will be my first experiences with the series, and it's like I'm interested to learn more about it, because like when you think about the big 3 in terms of like the mascot era of PS2, like see, I hate those Whiplash guys. See, this is when it's like, okay, arms race. Hang on, use my special on him, get rid of him, then you, because I don't like you, how you're looking at me.
I don't think I forgot about you,
Tommy.
I don't know why I just like saying random names with such viciousness, like Keith.
Or Billy.
That's not saying it. It's Boris. Try that.
Try Boris.
Oh, look out for
Boris.
Keith!
They have fun with that. And now James can say he's seen that movie. Anyway, is that I'm super curious. But yeah, I'm curious to try out the Ratchet and Clank stuff, because yeah, out of all the big 3, you can argue that not even argue. It's proven. Out of all the big 3, Ratchet and Clank has lasted the longest. It went the longest.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
like where Jack and Sly pretty much got hit literal brick walls. Ratchet pretty much kept on going for the longest time.
And it's odd because Sly 3 and Sly 4, you could argue they hit brick walls. Jack, especially with Jak X and Lost Frontier, I felt Jak and Daxter still had a pretty decent open, like, they still have a venue they could work with more lore, just by now they've moved on to stuff like Last of Us and Uncharted, which, yes, I'm gonna get back to Uncharted 2. I do, because we had fun with Uncharted 1.
Yeah, Uncharted 1 was fun, and I'm definitely gonna be
most especially when what's her name lost her camera.
Oh yeah,
Berserk.
and it's
Went
definitely
berserk.
gonna be like not. Well, I guess just to be semi-topical. After hearing the stuff about Last of Us 2, it's gonna feel really refreshing going back to Uncharted, because say what you will about that series, at least that game remembers what a sense of humor is.
It remembers how to have fun.
Go ahead. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, that's why I'm I'm sorry. I fell out. I lost interest in. Oh jeez.
Ooh.
I lost interest in Last of Us after a while. I never finished Last of Us just because it unfortunately it didn't really pull my attention. And Last of Us 2, I was already pretty neutral about, and all the recent leaks. And if all that plot's true, which given Naughty Dog's reaction, they're true, I just don't care for that story. It doesn't. I don't wanna. We've talked about this. This is partially why we never really ended up doing much with the Tomb Raider series. I don't want to play a game just to feel sorry and feel bad about something. I like having fun, and Uncharted definitely.
Oh.
It has its serious. See, that I think that's stupid. Where a guy will be firing a rocket launcher at you, and he's 10 feet away from you. Like, what does he think is like that? How does he think that's gonna work? That's gonna hurt you too.
If you can humor me for a little scenario I just thought up, Logan, like you're talking about how like I don't like playing these games where I just end up feeling like sorry and so emotional for these characters. They'd be like, games like Undertale, then just hear a door slam alley going, wait a minute!
Unlike something like Last of Us, though, Undertale still has a sense of humor.
I know, I just wanted to make that joke.
It's lighthearted still, and I'd say the story has an uplifting ending. Spoilers, from what I've heard in the leaks, Last of Us 2 isn't going to have a very uplifting ending.
Yeah. Well,
at least not for the characters we've grown to know and love from the first one, which I still didn't really care for them. Continue.
Yeah. I was just about to say, yeah, very disheartening, like almost as disheartening as how that leak came about in the first place.
Yeah.
That is. I don't know how much of that was present during Jak and Daxter, during Uncharted, but companies your employees are give me a freaking second ability, activate. Companies, your employees, you need your employees. Your employees don't need you. You need your employees to make good products. Treat them right. Treat them like human. Don't. Crunch is not something that is. Crunch should never exist. If crunch is a thing, that means you as a manager are not doing your job well with time management and here, you need this back.
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't agree with people who think that crunch is just a necessity and crunch just is part of the business. I don't like people being pushed to their limits.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you're totally right. Crunch is entirely unnecessary. I disagree with all those people that think that we need a Wrath of Cortex remake.
Wait. Well, I don't even think it'd be them. It'd probably be Vicarious Visions. I don't know about... Okay,
I just wanted to make a joke because you kept talking about how, crunch is unnecessary. We don't need crunch.
That's what you... Oh, okay.
Although I have heard a lot... I was about to say, I wanted to make that joke, although I have heard a lot of people speculating that we might potentially get not like a straight-up remake in the same way as Insane did, but some kind of reimagining of Wrath of Cortex eventually.
I mean, so long as it plays to the series' strengths and not try too hard with really out of the way gimmicks, then I think we might have something to look forward to.
I think reimagining is fine. Long and short of it is, I think Banana Blitz would have done better had they reimagined it rather than try to fix what was already clearly broke.
And honestly, that's just the route, Banana Blitz is still I know it wasn't that well received, the remake was, but that's still my go-to example of how I kind of want to see them do remakes more often. It's like if you want to go, remake crazy nowadays, how about you exercise that on games that had potential, but couldn't really utilize it that well? We're seeing that with Banana Blitz. I can think of, a few other games that would benefit from it.
A Hero's Tale would have been a Hero's Tale remake would be neat with the new Spyro engine.
Let me know if there's
What
anything
else?
else I can do to
It
help.
still feels weird to hear something like that, because I look back on A Hero's Tale and compare it to the original trilogy, it's like,
That's it.
goddamn,
Jake can pull some
production
tricks.
values really were, there.
It's definitely not as bad as Year of the Dragonfly, though. Although, although actually backing up, kind of sorry, last thought. I'm so sorry, Jordy. We kind of just talked.
It's okay.
I'm in the same vein as what we're seeing with Battle for Bikini Bottom, bringing back some of those scrap levels. I would love if they could give Year of the Dragonfly and Twin Sanity the chance to fully look at what couldn't be done and fix it.
Well, I know for a fact people want that for Twin Sanity.
Yeah, because Twin Sanity was rife with potential. It's just that, that's another prime example of why crunch is bad.
And
I mean, Crunch is so bad he barely even got to be in that game.
Right.
Yeah,
just had
he
little
brought a
birthday
cake and everything. He was ready for that birthday party.
And I genuinely want something for Year of the Dragonfly because you can see that the groundwork was there. They lost so much like opportunity to the point where they were turning hub levels into real levels.
Literally.
Had they the chance to actually treat them like hub levels and give you real levels, I would like Year of the Dragonfly to be the next like Spyro 4, like the true Spyro 4 we wanted. Because I can argue that Spyro 4 was done even dirtier than Crash 4.
Seriously. That being said, though, when do we get back to that juicy plot?
Next part. It'll be there.
Okay. Till next time, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.